A real attention grab, dare I say. A hook? Metal. It bends. But why? Let's talk about plastic deformation. Plastic deformation is a permanent change made to a material structure by pushing its molecular bonds to the point of shifting and reforming. This allows reshaping of the medium, making metals incredibly useful for the construction of just about anything. But why can metal undergo plastic deformation? And why does it act differently when hot? To answer that, we have to look at molecular structure. Metallic bonds form when metal atoms share some of their valence electrons with all the other atoms in a metal crystal. Because of these free-floating electrons, the positive cations are able to form into patterns with repeating cells known as crystalline lattices. For our iron forging purposes, we can focus on two of the most common lattice structures, face-centered cubic and body-centered cubic. Within these lattices, a process known as slipping occurs in metals to allow them to bend and reshape. Slipping involves atoms under stress being pushed along slipping planes in their crystalline structure in a direction parallel to the densest chain of atoms in that plane. Face-centered lattices have more slippage and are thus more ductile and malleable. This is because they hold their atoms closer together, leaving less room for other layers of atoms to sink into the divots between them. Meanwhile, body-centered lattices have increased distances between their atoms, leading to increased atomic friction as atoms settle in. Think sandpaper. A coarser grit causes more friction as it has greater distance between peaks in the grit, while a finer grit sinks less into a material, causing less friction. But iron is a body-centered material, so this is where the heat comes in. When iron is heated to 912 degrees Celsius, the molecular bonds relax, allowing the lattice structure to change from body-centered to face-centered. Heating is also commonly used to excite body-centered cubic atoms, so they'll fill more space and allow slipping. These structural shifts are why iron and many other metals are more ductile when heated. Simple, right? Well, we're not done yet. We have to leave the atomic level and look at the interactions between metal crystals. Inside a piece of metal, individual crystals form called grains, each having differing lattice directions which can interrupt or halt slipping. This means that the larger a metal's grains are, the more flexible it will be because of the continuous slipping planes. Meanwhile, smaller grained materials have more changes in lattice direction, meaning that there are more interruptions in the slip system. Grain size can be altered by heating and cooling metals at different speeds. So that's why iron is more flexible when heated. The crystalline lattice structures become more dense, allowing easier slippage of atoms into new positions. That's pretty metal.